Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, My Hero Academia edition. And today we are going to be talking about the final three, you heard that right, the final three episodes of My Hero Academia Season 5. Just felt like yesterday that we were starting recording about Season 5, and in a blink of an eye,
it was gone.
It was gone. Season 5 just concluded this past Saturday on the 25th of September, whenever you're listening to this. So with us, we have the My Hero enthusiast, Andrea. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So where'd the time go?
Good question. I very much thought the last time we recorded, we would have at least 4 more episodes and then some, truly. Maybe I just lost track of the number of episodes, but when I saw it was announced that this season was finished, I was like, wait, what? I just felt like we were going to see more My Villain Academia. I felt like we were going to get a little bit more at the end of what we did. However, I do feel like Season 5 left us a lot of hanging questions that are really, really good.
Agreed. So there's only 3 episodes that were left that we got to talk about a little bit. 111, 112, then 113. Then we're going to give our thoughts on Season 5. And then we already know also that as soon as My Hero Season 5 ended, they've already announced Season 6.
Yep.
So Season 6 will be in 2022 more than likely. And talk about maybe a little bit of what we want in Season 6. And then we have the movie still coming up. It's looming, so that'll be the next My Hero thing. But let's just hop right into this. So, Andrea, episode 111, not to give spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen them yet, but things I had definitely down were it's more about the next 111, 112 about Shigaragi's family.
Yeah, it's the Shigaraki show. We get a lot more into his thinking. We could only guess at the beginning, or up until this point, really. We knew he was a villain. I had made comments previously that he's a bit immature as a villain because he doesn't really have that drive goal clear. I feel like that has been cleared up a little bit, although I won't say what it is. It's just very vague, whereas Overhaul, it's very specific.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Shigaragi's thing, because we see his family besides All Might's master, but I think the thing is he has I guess I don't want to say complex because his dad. Long story short, I can't give this. His dad doesn't like heroes.
Yeah, his dad basically refuses to let his kids talk about heroes, want to be heroes, and for that reason, we see Shigaraki getting in trouble for that.
Which, in all honesty, I can get where the dad's coming from.
For sure.
Because, for that, the dad is the son of All Might's master. He's the son. And she was out there
fighting the good fight.
And
she died.
But she also, the biggest thing, even before dying, she was never around.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think got to Shigaragi's dad, because we didn't see what Shigaragi's grandpa on that dad's side, whatever happened to him.
We never, not to give too many spoilers, but we do see flashes into his own childhood with his mother, and you don't see dad at all, so we honestly don't know what's going on with grandpa. So yeah,
so it's one of those age-old things that where if you're a person, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife's a superhero, and they're out there fighting a good fight, time is going to get taken away from you. And especially as a kid, you may not fully understand it because you would want your parents to be with you.
Which makes sense and is totally normal. But at the same time, it's one of those things, as you grow up and mature, it's kind of assumed that you start to understand that concept and you would kind of come to peace with it. It doesn't seem like that's the case.
Yeah, so it's just, I honestly got where he was coming from, and I guess also because he wanted to be there for his kids, and he felt like the hero life, which is true in all spectrums of hero medium, you're not going to be around for your family like that unless you have a super balance, and it looked like Shigaragi's grandma did not have a balance. She was just full hero, all of that. So you see, because I honestly thought the hate from heroes with Shigaragi, the way it was showing, was coming from his dad. But then you see otherwise, and then you see the trauma into that episode. But it was an interesting dynamic because we almost started to think like, maybe it's kind of like the Todorokis, but nah, the
No.
Shigaragi's family is not that bad at all.
No, it's not to that level of toxicity. Is it kind of toxic? Absolutely. But no, just Endeavor. You still take scumbag dad of the year.
And even with these episodes, I still don't understand. Maybe I don't understand the plot points from season 1, because when Shigaragi went to UA, he was like, to all my blah blah blah, so and so is my master, and like he was kind of blaming him.
Yeah.
But again, All for One killed his master, so I still don't I still don't think he knows that.
I find that really hard to believe, because I feel like that's something All for One literally like brags about. So I think it's just his twisted psychology that they touch on in here of like, well, I shouldn't say Shigaraki's twisted psychology in this moment, because it's more what he was taught from All for One, where basically All for One's parenting, quote unquote, method, because Shigaraki was so young, was be unrestrained by all things, all rules. It's all created by man because they want everything to run smoothly. Fuck all that. So I feel like originally his hate for heroes was that they didn't show up for him, which they did touch on a little bit again. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, it's more so like F everybody. Just like, I want to do what I want when I want because I want to, and it makes me feel good. So
I don't know. I just didn't like, now just seeing it further, and then that's it. I just remember that part 1 thing. I was like, so why was that even brought up? Like, I just don't get it from the fact that, and it's also even looking like when it almost looked like Shigaraki never even met his grandma.
Oh, from that, definitely not, because it definitely seems like the recognition of that, she would have already been gone, or his dad like cut off contact. But we know that All Might's predecessor died relatively young looking, so like honestly she's
and also too with Shigaragi's dad is the fact too that your bio mom left you to do the hero stuff, but then she is out training another man who's probably the same, probably would have been close to, if not a little bit young. All My may have been a little bit younger when she started training, but it depends.
Yeah.
But like, that's one of those things. It's just like, so you can train a stranger that you just met, but you can't come back to your own family. That's bad.
Yeah. But that's how the superhero tropes always go.
But the other thing I also liked about 111, and I wrote there, Trumpet,
my God,
and
politician,
Redestro. Both of those quirks, those are great quirks.
Oh my God, we have Trumpet is the name of the quirk, and the other one is, what is it? Stress.
Yep,
it's literally stress. If I could manifest stress as a quirk, y'all would be done. There's no stopping me. Well, nope.
And then he also looked like when Toguro.
I know his friggin'. Okay, at least though with Toguro, shout out Yu Yu Hakusho. With Toguro, he amped it up like 10-20%. Like he started at the bottom, was still kicking ass. Redestro jumped from basically 0 to 80 real quick, and then what does he do next? Okay, 100, cool, we got this. And then he's like, nah, fam. 150%. It's like, okay.
Well, he had to, because he was going against the main antagonist of the show, and he got a power up. So those two quirks were really, really, really cool. But I think the biggest thing that I took out of it was definitely finding out the connection, like who the grandma and Shigaraki, who was like the direct person underneath, and it was his dad, and seeing that, and then I was just like, oh, okay.
For me, my thing, no spoilers with the whole kind of like realization. That was a big moment for me. I also just seeing Shigaraki's power up.
Mm-hmm.
I am nervous for how they are going to combat this. Because it's a problem. It's a huge problem. Like,
he doesn't have to touch you. He can just touch anything.
Like just anything you are touching. So like, legitimately, he could decimate an entire army by himself. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's a drawback, which then you make little Deku parallels. Also, I have a kind of a bullshit theory that at the end of the manga, show, whatever, at some point, Shigaraki and Deku are going to be like, I like a shoe game, fam. Have a little Martha moment because they both wear the same freaking red shoes. That cannot be a coincidence.
So that's your one. I mean, I'm still the All Might's master and Deku's mom looking the same when Deku was younger, but
that's true. Plot twist, they're twins, separated at birth.
That would be wild. But going to 1012, then you also see how Shigaraki got his villain name and the end of the fight between the League of Villains and the Meta Liberation Army, and things got worse because now there's a new army because now you finally see how them come together, and it got really. It was already bad.
It got worse,
and then it got a lot worse, and then you see all the aspects like you saw how. I even forgot their full name. I'm just still going to call them the Meta Liberation Army. But you see how they can control the media.
Oh, yeah, no, they control the media.
They have funds.
Yep.
And now, and obviously there's heroes who are there who believe in it. So, you see, the full scope of
how bad this is. Yeah, and how bad it's going to be. Their new name is the Paranormal Liberation Army.
It's a little bit much.
I don't understand why the term paranormal. I honestly wonder if that's a little bit of a mistranslation or lost in translation, I should say. Since for us, paranormal seems very supernatural, fantastical.
Paranormal activity.
Exactly. I hate those movies. But I'm just not sure what the feeling that's supposed to evoke is. But basically at this point, it's all rules barred.
Forgot to say too, now with the League, we talked about the money, the media, the heroes underneath, and high-end Nomus now.
Oh, yes, because Shigaraki met the requirements for that doctor person to...
Fake Dr. Eggnog. Egg.
Yeah, for real, truly. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, they have all that now, and, yeah, that's a...
It's a big problem.
Yeah, but those are what I got out of 1012. 112,
yeah. It's... Basically, at the end of both of those episodes, I was like... What are we doing? How are we getting out of this?
Did your fear go up from... Because I remember 2 episodes... When we found out they had 110, you were just like, this is bad. But now...
Oh, no, it's worse. My feelings of anxiety from then are worse. Because at first, with the League of Villains fighting the Liberation Army, the League of Villains were holding their own. They were taking out quite a bit of foot soldiers. So I was like, okay, so they're going to cut this army down for us at least a little bit. No, I no longer have that feeling.
Well, you saw the meeting. You're like, not that many people must have really died, or they must have got new recruits in a week.
Exactly.
It was all in there, which Hawks is there. He was at the meeting too, so now it's gone to double agent because now the League and the Meta Liberation Army is combined. And he was actually kind of upset himself. He felt like he was too late.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was maybe he was trying to be a triple agent because it would have been easier to take out.
Yeah, your enemies are more powerful apart than they are together.
So now he's there doing his thing. Did you have anything else from 112?
Not really.
So then 113, we actually go back to the heroes, and I wrote down that it's ending how it started because you saw them with their improvements from what we saw at the beginning of the training arc. And we actually saw a lot of people's cool new stuff. Yep.
Yeah, we did. It started with the naval saber because Ayama can just have a continuous little sword coming out of his.
I wish he could pass those swords off to people.
That would be cool, but then it'd be an energetic form of
going back
quirk. I was going to say she can make swords for everybody.
But going back to Yu Hakusho, to Kuwabara giving everyone a spirit sword.
Oh, that's right. He did do that.
If you could do that, that could be a little handy.
If
they're fighting someone who can only be hit by whatever energy. And
yeah, that's true. I mean, they are going to run into somebody like that, let's be really honest. But yeah, open up with him, and then very quickly, who's the next person we see is, I'm forgetting her name, the invisible girl.
Because she grabs the laser.
She does, or she refracts it.
Yep,
she refracts it because we see at the beginning of season 5 that she's kind of leveled up and that she can do things with light.
Mm-hmm.
And so since his naval laser or saber is a light source, she's able to bend and curve it. So that was really cool, but it's also just like
Toru Yagakor, aka what is her AKA?
What? Yeah, what is her hero name?
These things take forever. Oh, stealth hero, Invisible Girl.
Invisible Girl, that's right. Why is that so? That is so uninventive. Anyway, and then the next person after that, who was it? Who was after those two? Shoot, I can't recall. But
it was
was it Ashido?
Yeah, Ashido Acid. She's able to. Well, we talked about Shigaragi being now you can't really touch him, but if Ashido, she's putting herself in acid, you really can't. That's a good shield.
She's becoming a whole ass acid person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm swearing a ton. Just you get close to her, you melt. My question at that point though is, how does she use acid against normal villains and not kill them? Because like that's the whole restraint on these heroes, is they're not allowed to kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my question for her quirk, is like, how exactly do you like use that and
unless she could regulate the temperature of her acid. Like if she could make it like hot enough that like if you touch her, I mean you're like, you don't want to touch her, but like maybe she can change it somehow.
Wouldn't that be the chemical compound of it though versus the heat?
Yeah, the chemical compound. She can maybe change that. That would be
interesting to know, because that also, sorry, Ashido takes a little bit of brains, and as we know from the like scores on the tests and shit, she is not towards the top of the class. Does that mean she's failing? Probably not, but we also know that she was struggling to pass the final exams. Was it 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, and so they all went to Momo's house, and that's when they realized she was super freaking rich. And
yes.
And then I know we joke about we joke about Bakugo literally good at everything and has no limits, which was also a thing talked about in this episode.
Yep.
But from if she was a human being on planet Earth, Momo literally has everything too and is perfect.
Yep, she is. But which
we do see her improvements too, by the way.
Yes, we see everybody's improvements to start. Legitimately, everybody's. My only thing is like with Bakugo's, it's very subtle. It goes back to the whole that he struggles to produce sweat during the winter time. That has now been fixed, which is a small thing that amounts to a lot, I understand, but like compared to everybody else's basically like flashy new moves, he doesn't have that much. However, they also touch on there's a meeting with All Might, Deku, and Bakugo.
Wait, hold. You're not just gonna skip over Mineta.
Oh, fine.
You're not gonna. I'm not Mineta, Sero, the tape dude, and my guy Denki. That combo was smooth. Stick them with the grapes, wrap them in the tape, and then electrocute them. That was smooth. And you can't just skip the love thing of Uraraka and Deku doing the fist bump.
I can.
But I
can skip that. Okay.
But on a serious note, with Bakugo, there was no reason to show him do anything because he improved so much in the training arc that he sleeps ahead above all of them.
Yeah,
this is the 4-0 sweep dude. Just remember that, like, that's the 4-0. Like, he protected his team and whooped everyone's ass. So it's like there was nothing for him to really show because he had that big moment.
Yeah.
Because most of the people out there half of them lost to Class 1B. And tied. My only issue with the training thing, and you also see Deku, you do see him do Black Whip pretty good, but my issue was Shinsho wasn't there. I mean...
Yeah, true. Legitimately, everybody popped up in this episode, at least at one point. Mm-hmm. Everybody. Except Shinsho, which is weird, because he is supposed to be part of Class 1A at this point.
Yeah. But I can't believe you didn't mind. They had their fist bump. You're the one going for that romance. I mean, I'd rather see one other people, but...
I just don't like how... I just need it to be addressed and out in the open and just like lay it to rest, because basically at this point it was up to this point it's Deku crushing hard on Uraraka. He's kind of like, okay, I gotta focus on my own shit. And when that happens, that's when Uraraka's like, oh, damn, I like Deku. He's focusing on the shit he needs to focus on. I'm gonna do the same, but I'm still caught up in my feelings. And it's just like, I just need them to have a talk. And just...
But then going from the training thing, now I know the stuff that you were super excited about where there were some hints dropped. Obviously, too, then we see the big three are in the episode.
Yes, they are.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, like all my favorite people are just showing up. And then they say it's Eri, and then we're like, oh my gosh.
Well, they made it sound like it was urgent, and honestly, it looked like it is. But that leads into a plot line for season 6, I would hope. And I'm very excited for that. I honestly want to know details of what... Essentially, the plot line leads into that Aizawa is going to start training Eri, like, next week. So I just want to know exactly what that looks like. Like how...
Aizawa's the busiest person at UA.
He literally is.
So you're teaching class 1A, like, just normal stuff. You're teaching Shinsho on the side.
Yep.
Now you have to teach Eri on the side.
Yep.
You're always having a constant eye out for Midoriya, even though it's but he's still always having an eye out for Midoriya. I mean, and then now he has his own thing with the guitar one because Present Mike, because now they found out their friend is there. So he even asked him, was like, so if you find out who did the Nomo, what are you gonna do? And basically, Present Mike said he's just gonna blow the damn thing up.
Oh yeah. So he's gonna go ham.
He's very busy. Like if you didn't like the guy's out there.
That's why he doesn't sleep.
Yeah, true.
Although I kind of miss his sleeping bag. Like that's something that we haven't seen in a minute. Yeah.
But yeah, you see all of those things. And then a moment which I wish they actually had more moments of was Aizawa and All Might.
Yeah.
Like that was a very good subtle moment. Then All Might just dropped a subtle bomb. Like Eraser dropped a subtle bomb. Like, hey, people so and so called. They want you to postpone your meeting with Stain. Like
what?
Like just a sudden like.
Oh my god, that was. Maybe they said something earlier in the season and I forgot about it. But I was just like, wait, what? Oh shit. Oh. Okay. So that is going to be interesting. I want to know how that goes. Is it going to happen before the war actually starts? Is it going to have anything pertaining to the war? Is Stain going to be helpful to All Might because he felt like All Might's the only true hero other than Midoriya now? So many questions.
Also, with it coming now with that meeting and just thinking like, I wonder why it's waited so long to have this meeting. Like, if you were at the jail seeing All For One, why don't you just go next door and see Stain? Like, you were already there. Why make multiple trips? And also, there was a thing where All Might telling Midoriya like the next quirk for the one. Like, I don't know if you could control that. Like, hey, right. I want you to learn this one's next. Like, I don't know if that's a real thing you can just
say. Which. Yeah. That is a good point. I just love that it was it's Nana, right? Nana Shigaraki's quirk, which was float, which then tied into what I was trying to say earlier about like Bakugo now gloating that he's going to be ahead of Midoriya because he can already do that shit with his own quirk. And Midoriya is just like, no, I'm gonna get this really fast, really, really quick, and it's just like Midoriya, no, sorry.
He's still 20% still. Like he didn't go up percentages.
No, it's because he's been having to focus on the Black Whip, which he says he can only use successfully for about a second, which is very quick.
So I don't know if only he ended season 5 at the same level as season 4, like one for all wise, but
yeah.
The Black Whip, I was just like, I was hoping to get to like 25, 30, but yeah. And then you have that, and then you have basically Midoriya having their dinner, saying Class 1B's coming. I was waiting to see, no Shinsho still, and then Midoriya doing his typical "I'm so blessed" stuff, and then you have that, and then you have an end credit scene where they're all going to the same place.
They all got texts for their work studies about having to go to the same place, and it's like, oh, here we go. I can't say we. I thought this was going to be the prelude into the movie, but we never got it from this episode. So I guess that end credit scene that we saw what,
It was
five,
it was
six episodes
it was
back?
a girls episode.
Yes, after the girls episode, that technically I think would be where the movie is supposed to go, which is very surprising because they're still in the middle of the work studies. Plus,
well, they might get called to something else, or if this guy, because I mean, we'll do a whole different app, just like what we want from the movie, but I'm excited because now it's just like this is ending September 25th. We have 4 more weeks until. I don't think they've put a run time on the movie, but if this last one was 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see, man. Like we're all going there, and they talked about how like the war is coming, and then end season 5. So what did you think of season 5 as a whole? What did you think?
Season 5 as a whole is just wow. It just. The whole war arc, like, previews to it.
Yeah, it's a prelude.
Like, punched me right in the face. It was like, holy crap. Okay. Like, and it's just so true because a lot of times the heroes of everyday life don't know about these large, very potentially deadly plots until it's right at your door. So it's very realistic in that sense, also with the level of deception, spying, the code from Hawks to Endeavor, figuring that out. Which
he was not in these final 3 episodes. Which, I mean, the only thing was at the end of season 5, the kid holding an Endeavor doll while looking at the All Might statue.
Yeah.
At the place where him and All For One had their final fight. But no, he wasn't in these final 3
I
ones.
also don't know who that kid is. And, like, that's...
It feels like it's a plot point.
It probably will be. I feel nervous. I feel nervous about him holding the Endeavor doll.
Is he going to be the next kid who the movie focuses on? That could have been something.
Maybe. That's true. But they made it sound like he was going to be joining UA in the spring. And at the end of season 5, Ida did comment that they have 3 more months before they do start their second year. So basically what? Season 2 through 5 is 1 entire school year? These poor freshmen. Oh my God. Like...
That's what happens when you have the main character in your class, though.
That's bad luck.
It is bad luck, but it's what happens. But no, what was your favorite parts of season 5?
I think if I tease it out, my favorite parts of season 5 honestly are probably the training arcs in the beginning and then getting backstories on... Well, more in-depth backstory on Twice. Personal opinion, I feel like Shigaraki's was drawn out just a little too far, and I wish we could have used more of that time for, like, actual detail in Toga's. But I very much enjoyed getting those backstories. I also personally thought we might be getting, especially since I thought we had more time in this season, I thought there would be more My Villain Academia than what there was. Because I think the whole span of those episodes, 4?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's like...
They didn't even end the season on them and went back to the good guys in the last episode.
For 1 episode, right. And that's... I will say the only thing for me is I would like to go back... Prepping for season 6, go back and rewatch all of this and mark down those time skips so that I know chronologically when everything is happening, because we go like 3 months before, 3 months later, 1 month before, That's
a good thing to do before season 6.
Is get the exact timeline of when everything's going on. But yeah, I'm very excited for season 6, but I think I'm still really, really on my Momo and Shoto need hand-to-hand combat. I really want UA to have a combat class. I don't care what your quirk is. You should know at least basic self-defense and be able to defend yourself if somebody like Aizawa turned off your quirk. Like, what happens at that point, Todoroki? I've never seen you throw hands. Like, if Momo gave you a sword, would you be able to do anything with it?
Well, I already know whenever we do our stuff we want to do for what we want in the movie, I already know that's going to be our first thing, seeing a improved Shoto.
Yes,
and
also
I
do.
Him getting spotlight, so.
I want him to get spotlight, but I also feel like for somebody who is aiming to be the number 1 hero, I know it's his personality, and I do enjoy that his personality is very, like, laid back, easygoing. However, that can only get you so far if you don't have, like, no pun intended, but, like, a burning ambition, a burning drive like Deku and Bakugo have. So, like, I feel like that's also why he's getting pulled away from, is because, yeah, there was a little bit of, like, resting on his laurels. He got that recommendation. His ice quirk is great, amazing. He didn't really develop his fire quirk. We know why. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Initiative.
Oh,
like,
no.
He did seek out his dad, but, like, he's kind of there like a sponge waiting for this information, whereas, like, Bakugo, although he is aggressive and I don't really vibe with that, goes after those questions, like, goes after, okay, what do I need to do next? I need to figure this out. I want to figure this out. It's just, yeah. And Deku's the same way, has always been overly analytical of all quirks, all their nuances, and being able to figure that out. And luckily that came in handy for him once he did get a quirk. So now that he's able to do that in battle. All three of them are very intelligent. It's just, I feel like Todoroki is lacking that real drive. Because even though he wants to be the number one hero to, like, be a better hero than his dad, I feel like that's still a little rooted in, I don't want to say revenge, but, like, narrow-minded, or not narrow, like, blinded direction. So I think I'm hoping this happens, because I feel like this would really help propel him, is that he finds a more personal reason, a more touching reason to amp himself up to, like, go after that spot. Because it does feel like, I don't really feel like there's going to be an upset that these three aren't the next big three. But with the current big three, I don't feel like, even though Amajiki is shy and reserved, you can tell he works really hard, and he strives to work hard. I feel like Todoroki strives for his goal, but that same level of work ethic is not there yet, or at least that we haven't seen yet. And again, I know that's a little bit due to him being a more cool level personality. But yeah, I really want that for him. He's my favorite character, as much as I'm talking shit about him right now. Like,
I know, he's your favorite, and you want some things. It also doesn't help which I know we've talked about, Shigaraki getting his upgrade, all the League of Villains, all that stuff, getting their upgrades.
I feel like Dabi didn't really actually
I'm glad you brought him up, because I was going to go from Shigaraki to Redestro to Trumpet, but to someone who I think they need to really focus on when this fight really goes, because I had to look up his name, was Genten.
Yes,
they need to, like, when they're fighting the Liberation Army, if they sleep on him, it is going to be very problematic, because that guy is something else.
Yeah, he is. And it's like, Shoto, can you get your ice to can you do that? Could you please? Because, like, that's great. Because he was whooping Dabi's ass. Like, the only reason Dabi survived that fight is because he basically was like, oh, I gotta redivert my attention. Peace out. Like, and then Dabi was this, oh my god. Like, yeah. I was about to beat his ass too. No, you were not.
He went to go fight Gigantula.
Yeah.
He was just right. I was like, my goodness. But yeah, with season 5 stuff, I mean, I wish My Villain Academia was longer, but it is what it is. It's not like we're going to be having to wait that long.
That's true.
Because they already announced season 6. So I'm fine with that. And we have a movie coming out. So I'm cool with all that. Things I did like. I like the training stuff. I like seeing people improve. I mean, I like seeing your reactions when your people were not doing well and that my people were doing well. That's just a personal thing for me. But
you got so excited.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because I was just like, let's go. And then also, the other shock we had when, before we saw the training thing, we were trying to predict whose teams were going to win and lose, but we had no idea that Bakugo's team was going to go 4-0 in
Yeah.
5 minutes, and then seeing the villains upgrades. But now it's just like with Shigaraki, if Hawks tells them about Shigaraki's upgrades and all that stuff, obviously we know how these animes go. Midoriya is going to be the one who beats him somehow because he's the main character.
Right.
But from a logical strength, speed, skill, all that stuff, if wouldn't the only person who'd be able to beat him, right? Well, besides like maybe Endeavor, but wouldn't Lemillion be the only one who could beat him?
Yeah,
because I actually don't think even the upgraded version, I don't think he could beat Lemillion.
Well, that's the thing. He has to be able, not that he has to touch him anymore, but he has to be touching the things around him. He goes through everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he really is, his quirk was like, I didn't realize he was built for this moment, but he was built for this moment, and now he doesn't have a quirk. I said 2
podcasts ago when they said Project Rebirth, I truly believe Project Rebirth is trying to get him his stuff back.
Oh, for sure. It absolutely is.
So, because as everyone does, you'll do the job until the main character comes and gets some enormous upgrade, and then he'll take Shigaraki out one way or another. But just from a logical thing, I'm like, oh, so he could do it to the ground. Lemillion could just swoop through, and Shigaraki's not invincible. He had a broken arm, like broken leg, like he was messed up, like.
He was messed up, but he was pushing through like he didn't feel shit. So,
but now they've announced season 6, like we said. We don't have a date for that. The movie is still coming out the end of October, the 29th.
Yep.
So probably in a couple weeks we'll have our little list of things of what we want in the movie, and then we'll see the movie and then give our review, and then we're just going to be patiently waiting for season 6. And then Andrea will have our Naruto what if things, but then might have to talk to the others and have, while My Hero's on hiatus, have Andrea slide into her other favorite young man named Tanjiro.
Oh, Tanjiro Kamado.
Since that day, also
wholesome ray of light. I love him.
Since Demon Slayer is finally officially announced, actually October 10th, they're doing I know we're My Hero thing, but just a little on Demon Slayer. They're doing the retelling of the movie, but they're adding new scenes.
Yes, so it's basically the same arc. So it's going to have the same outcome.
Yep, but
however, I'm really hoping, if you've seen the movie, sorry for spoilers, but there are a couple characters where for the second half of the movie kind of just disappear. I feel like that for me is an opportune moment to have more scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see how that arc is different from the movie. And oh my god, so that basically is going to run from October 10th to the first airing of the second season, the beginning of December.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode of season 2 is a whole hour long.
So it's basically a mini movie on Crunchyroll or Funimation, whenever you're watching it on. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And then again, once October 29th hits and once we both had a chance to see the movie, like we've already talked about in previous podcasts, we're going to have to answer the 2 questions. Is it better than the first 2 movies? And was it better than the last anime movie that came out? Mugen Train. So we'll see.
We will see.
Anything else that we missed on the end of did you like season 5's intro better than season 4 Star Maker intro?
I don't think so, but I'm glad you brought that up because like I mentioned to you before we actually, brought the mic out, I wonder how season 6 opener is going to be, because the opening of season 5 very much makes it look like they were just in some sort of fight.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme song is kind of like a rallying cry of hey, you can dust yourself back off, get back out there, because it very much looks like they lost some sort of fight. So I feel like that's very it foreshadows the coming battles involved in either the war or before the war.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly thought we might get into something like that during season 5, and we obviously didn't. So I wonder if they're going to stick with pattern, and season 6, that opening is going to be kind of foreshadowing the outcome of that war or more of the battles, or if it's going to be more of the same actual intensive infighting mode scenes or gearing up for battle. But I feel like that would be I don't want to say a regression in the sense that like it downgrades, but it would just be, I feel like, out of order if season 5's opening is, it seems like they've already lost some sort of fight, and then season 6, the opening is they've still lost this fight, or they are still.
They are losing a fight. It's just behind the scenes.
That's true.
Because the villains, they're prepared and doing they're doing their stuff, and the heroes, besides, because again, we still don't know what other heroes have been told. We only know Endeavor.
Well, I thought it was assumed that Endeavor's the only hero that knows. The Commission kind of knows.
But he's the only one we've seen on screen actually just look at the book, decipher it. Yeah. And it's put emphasis, because that's when he started putting emphasis on those kids training. Yeah. Like, we didn't even see any of the other heroes. Like, if the dragon one was like, oh, I need to prep these girls up because I've deciphered them. Yeah, but he's still the only one we've known who's deciphered it and knows in 4 months it's happening. Yeah. So that's something, too, I wish they would have done in season 5. More top heroes.
We also got a mini list of the different heroes that the kids did work studies with. Mm-hmm. Batgum is not number 58.
Yeah, that's like bad. That is way.
No way. He, in the previous ending, we could see freaking Fat Gum themed wrapped candies. Like, I'm sorry, you do not do that for number 58 in the country. Like, you just don't. Yeah, you just don't.
That was bad. That was real bad.
And then we had a random lion hero, which was cool. Be number 13. We have never seen you before, bro. What the hell?
And you're in the top 50.
Like, who are you?
Yeah, that was interesting too. Those are things to look up. But yeah, season 5 is over. We'll be back previewing the movie, then reviewing the movie, and then
waiting for season 6.
Waiting for season 6. Andrea, anything else you want to say?
No, thanks everybody. I hope you've seen all of season 5 with us, or this inspires you to watch season 5 and or the rest of the show, because it is very entertaining, visually stunning, and it, at least for me, it makes me feel good watching it. So
yeah. Again, thank you everyone for listening. I guess then after the movie, besides Demon Slayer, we will have some downtime, which means also we can actually do some of our creative My Hero episodes.
Oh, the case studies again?
Or we can get your official top 10 of the strongest people in 1A. We could do that. Yikes. We could do the fights. We could do the top, the top 5, 6, whatever. I don't know, teenage / young adult women, because last time when we were talking about it off, Mike, we forgot to mention Toga because she's a bad guy, but she's somewhere in those rankings.
Oh my goodness, and she just had a giant power up too.
We're gonna have free time to be super creative with My Hero, and then just my last thing, going back to another anime since you weren't on it. Kinemaru Curse Mark 2 versus Sasuke Curse Mark 2. Who would you have had if you were on that pod?
I definitely had Kimimaro.
Fair enough. And with that being said, thank you guys for listening to the L7C podcast. Now season 5 is done, so you can just sit and binge it. And we will be back in about a couple of weeks previewing the movie, and we'll go from there. And with that, take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.